So to recap, Zach picked MSU over Purdue in the finals, and I picked MSU over Michigan in the finals. And if you look at the bracket does favor the Wolverines, as all the teams that they have not beaten this year
are on the top,
the other side of the bracket. And the teams that Michigan has defeated at least once, with Purdue and Illinois, and Penn State, Indiana. They swept Indiana and Iowa, and looks like they should.
I will say this:
good.
Iowa is the dark horse team within the Big Ten. That, if I'm Michigan, that you have to be you have to focus on that game first. You can't be looking ahead to Illinois.
No doubt. Take it one game at a time. People say one win for Michigan will get them in the tournament, and
I would say 2.
You say 2?
I would say 2 is locks them in. 1 is almost it's like leaving the door open for someone to just make a tournament run somewhere and knocking them out.
True. Some people say that Michigan right now is 90% chance of getting in, even if they lose to Iowa, and 100% if they beat Iowa.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
I'd go more with 80% if they. Actually probably 60% if they lose, 90% if they win, 100% if they win 2.
Okay.
So if they get into the semis, I'd say that they're a lock to be NCAA tournament.
All right. Should be a fun tournament.
You think?
Should be fun. Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep. And then of course Selection Sunday. This Sunday, next Tuesday, we'll go through the regions, and
we'll have to do our picks.
Of course.
We'll have to do our picks.
So we'll break down all 63 games. Actually,
Yeah.
64 games of the NCAA tournament. So we got the play-in game. So
65 teams.
Yeah, it's 64 games.
Which is ridiculous. Why do 65? Why not just do 64 and get it over?
Because there
Why
has
can't
to
you
be
have-
so
why can't-
many there has to be so many.
So what? You have the automatic bids, and then you have the at-large bids, and that's it. You don't have an extra at-large bid.
No, but there's some rule that there has to be exactly 34 automatic or 34 at-large teams.
So stupid.
And there used to be only 30 conferences, and then they added a conference. So that's why they have 65 instead of 64.
No me gusta.
Little
gusta.
Trivia for you, I guess. So, I don't know.
Did you check our email lately?
Checking out the
Did you
baseball.
check our email lately?
Checked it earlier.
Lately.
Checking out Grand Valley Baseball. They're up 4-1 now in the bottom of the 6th.
They have 7 hits now. Yay!
Yep.
But they also have an error. Boo!
Yep. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah?
We actually do have a message here on Facebook from Paul Beach. First time listening. Just thought I'd throw it out there that Michigan isn't exactly hot, as your co-host keeps stating, having lost to Wisconsin 2 weeks ago and just squeezed by Minnesota last week. They've lost 4 of their last 9. That is true.
His name's Paul, right?
Paul, yes.
Paul? Who's on the radio? Who's on the radio? Who is on the radio? That's what I thought. But, no. Even Michigan, I mean, sure, the win against Minnesota wasn't exactly dominating, but it's a huge morale booster. I mean, they came back from 12 down to win by 3 at Minnesota. They beat Purdue in the previous 2 weeks. Was it Illinois that they also played? I want to say it was Illinois that they beat in the last 2 weeks.
No, they beat Illinois earlier in the Big Ten season.
Who was it then? They had 3 big games at the end of the season. That's Purdue and Minnesota were the last 2, but I can't remember who their last home game was.
All right.
Was their last home?
The Michigan schedule. the last few weeks, they beat Minnesota, lost to Wisconsin by 5, and they beat Purdue on February 26th. That was a big win for Michigan. They beat them by 9, so that win right there could be the big morale booster. They did lose to Iowa in Iowa by 10.
Yeah.
And of course they beat Minnesota again earlier.
I guess the big thing is that they, they played Minnesota twice in the last couple, last 3 weeks, and they beat them both times. And Minnesota was like their competition within conference for an NCAA bid. And they got the job done when they had to get it done. So I consider them a team that's on a roll.
I think Michigan's. I mean, they're not super hot.
They're not scorching hot. Wow, look at them! They've had 12 straight wins to get them within NCAA, bid contention.
But if you look at those 4 losses in the last 9 games, I mean, one of them was to UConn by 8.
Yeah.
Okay, and they almost won that game as well, as they were up late in the game.
And then fell apart.
10 minutes or so to go. Then UConn went on a roll. Michigan State, they lost to Michigan State, of course, and Michigan State, they're looking to be a number 1 seed. And
so is UConn.
Yeah, UConn too. So there's 2 losses there. I mean, I could have told you that they would have lost those 2. And then, the wins against Northwestern and Minnesota. And then Iowa, they probably shouldn't have lost to Iowa, but Iowa is a tough place to play.
Yes.
So, and then, of course, Wisconsin, also a very tough place to play. Bo Ryan as coach. You know that Wisconsin will have a shot of winning that game. I believe Bo Ryan has a streak of over 50 wins against unranked Big Ten teams at home.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Because I know that they got their home win streak was broken this year, but
I remember them saying that during that game. Bo Ryan has a lot of, I think, 50 straight wins against Big Ten non-ranked teams at home. It's kind of a weird stat, but it's interesting. And then a big win against Purdue, and then of course closing the season there with Minnesota. And they got Iowa first game of the Big Ten tournament. Nate wants to remind us that Kalen Lucas of MSU was awarded the Big Ten Player of the Year. Travis Walton was the Defensive Player of the Year, so congratulations to those 2. And we're way over time.
Oh, we're good. We've been over by more than this. We're good.
All right.
So this has been the A to Z Sports Show on The Whale, WCKS. Thanks for listening. We're always on Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. to around 11. I'll try to have the video up sometime by this weekend. We'll see what happens.
And don't forget, if you missed any part of this show, check out YouTube or
the Facebook group. We always put links up to the first episode in the series. Until next week, I'm Zach Harmon.
And I'm Andy Graham.
We're going to kick it back over to the mixer.